And welcome back to the Survivor Girl podcast. Happy Survivor Girl Sunday, everybody. I am so glad that you guys are joining me. Thank you for coming in and participating in this show. I appreciate the support, the love, and everything that you guys keep on giving, the good vibes, all that stuff. Thank you so much for that. So it is another Sunday, and we're here live in studio. First off, I just want to go on with a disclaimer that anything that I talk about today, I am not a doctor. I cannot prescribe. I cannot treat. I cannot do anything in the medical field. I am only here to just talk about what I've experienced, things that I'm trying to work through. And anytime that I have guests on the same thing, we're just trying to help uplift, support, and help you hopefully get through whatever it is that you're getting through and inspire you as well. So thank you guys again, like I said, for joining me this Sunday. I'm going to go a little bit back and talk about last week's episode in case you guys missed it. We had a special guest on called Melissa Armstrong. She's assistant manager or assistant over the library, or director, assistant director, that's right. So we talked about the millage and everything that was going on for our local library, and I'm so glad that we had a chance to sit down and talk with her, and I just want to give her another shout out and thank her for that. Everything went through. The millage passed 78% yes. So thank you to the community and everybody that was able to vote on that. We're so thankful that the library is still going to be here for the next 10 years until they have to go ahead and do another millage, I believe. So if you guys are interested in that episode, it is archived on our Survivor Girl podcast page here on YouTube and on Twitch for, I think, another week. So you guys can go ahead and watch that, listen to it, whatever you guys want to do. And it'll explain a little bit more of what was kind of happening here. We've seen a couple different things going around about the millage and about access to the books and whatnot at the library or on the online exchange, I should say. So we're so grateful that they're able to stick around because they do a lot of really great stuff in our community, a lot of free programs and different things. So we are super excited about that and glad that they are here to stay. So congratulations to you guys. We're so thankful that you're going to be around, and we thank you for joining us on the podcast. So last week, we kind of did a little bit different. It was a Survivor Girl kind of spotlight, and then afterward, I talked a little bit about what's been kind of going on in my life, and I'm looking forward to more of those Survivor Girl spotlights because we're keeping that momentum going and finding more businesses and people that want to join us for those. They're about a 15 to 30 minute kind of thing, and if you guys are interested, you have a business or you want to talk about what it is that you're doing that sets your soul on fire, the passion that you got going on. We'd like to be able to share that and do a little interview and have you talk a little bit about what it is that your business is or what you're involved in doing. So if you guys are interested, please give me a message to Survivor Girl Podcast Facebook page. Myself or my executive assistant Dawn or my producer can give you an answer back as soon as possible, and we appreciate that. We'll try to get you guys on here so you can come join me and we can do some of these spotlights. I'm super excited about that. Got to go to the Vassar Farmers Market this past weekend, which was so much fun. Excuse me a minute. PSA, everybody, drink your water. I'll talk about that in a minute. We were so excited to be able to go. It was very great turnout. I had all of the Dragonfly Boutique stuff that I create, which was so much fun. I got a lot of really good reviews from people that stopped in to see all of the recycled jewelry and different things that I make, which was really cool. That made me feel very good. And also got to meet some really cool people. I want to give a shout out, and I feel bad that I don't remember what the name was. Tony, do you remember what her business was?
Which one?
The lady that had the bee, all the bee stuff, the honey.
She said she was on Instagram.
She's
and Facebook.
local. She's local. I had her card, and I'm so sorry, but she was a very sweet lady. She's going to be again, I believe, at the Vassar Farmer Market again next weekend. So I'm trying to set something up to be able to have a show with her. And also, I met a really nice lady named Nadia. She does some natural stone wrapping, and she has a Facebook page and a website. Making healthy choices. Yeah. I added that to Survivor Girl podcast last night with one of the quotes that she had posted, and got to touch a little bit more, base with her. She's such a really cool person, like a free spirit, and I really enjoyed being able to talk to her. I love when you're able to meet people like that and you just feel good, like in their presence and their energy. So cool. So I'm hoping to talk more with her as well because a lot of the content that she has on Making Healthy Choices page is very good. So I want to talk a little bit about that because she has a lot of things for not just making healthy choices in food, but in your exercise routine or whatever it is you want to call it. I call it creative movement. That's just my style. But so I want to talk a little bit more with her about it because I'm going to be honest with you guys. Lately, I've been dealing with some sugar cravings, and it's been horrible. So I'm sure that a lot of you have been dealing with this as well. I know I'm not the only one that gets into the sweet tooth and then starts kind of going from there, but it's not very good for anybody, especially not for myself. Because from going from 350 to where I'm at now, I don't want to go back there. So I have been trying to work on detoxing that again and working through that. So if I'm a little bit quiet for a little while, it's me just trying to not go crazy without that sugar. I'm sure we've all felt that and felt the blahs and being exhausted after going through eating sugar and on the up and up. And that makes it kind of hard because I do make, cheesecakes and baked goods and stuff. So, that they're in the house until they're sold, which, I was lucky to sell all of the cheesecakes I took to the farmers market because then I didn't have them sitting around. One thing too is not only for myself, but we've talked about it on past episodes, and I've even had Adam on. He is diabetic, so for that, it's not a good thing. So we've been kind of working through using natural, like with honey, and also the Swerve products for Trim Healthy Mama. If you guys have ever heard, yeah, Tony's over there snapping and getting sassy. That stuff is actually pretty good, and if you look on the content of the back of the package, you can see that it is pretty good for diabetics as well, and it does taste pretty good. So being able to learn the different stuff and trying to get away from it is not going to be an easy task, but I know it's something that I need to work on, and I'm sure a lot of you probably feel the same way. And it's not easy. Sugar is a very hard habit to kick. It's super hard. But I look at it like this, and I think about how far that I've come and how far I want to continue to go. Being able to go and do the aerial park, the kayaking, getting out in nature, and doing all of those really fun things, I've been able to do because I have had the energy. Because of losing weight, having the momentum, and having being able to physically be able to do these things, and I want to stay on that path. I don't want to go back to where I was. So I'm being honest with you guys and bringing that up tonight because it's like if you don't have that accountability, sometimes you kind of fall short. So I'm being honest with you guys. I am definitely 100% human, and I've talked about this before on the podcast. I make mistakes just as much as anybody else does. And, I think being able to talk openly about these things and feel that love from other people that are like, yeah, girl, I understand. I have the same thing going on. It helps you to kind of help each other out too. So, and that's always been something that has helped me having some accountability and helping other people out while getting myself together, getting my poop in a group, as you might call it. So I'm looking forward to continue moving forward with that, and I'm looking to talk to more people about these kind of things, and finding the healthier options in in life. I think that's important, especially turning 40. Yeah, I really need to continue to move on the healthy habits and continue doing the best for myself. So, I keep thinking about that and how your body starts to change I think, every decade, is it? Things just start changing. So, I was facing before the show some dehydration issues, and I could feel to the point where I started getting dizzy. I started to just be exhausted all day, and it's my problem because I haven't been drinking as much water. So that's why I said PSA, drink your water, because especially having the bariatric surgery and not having a lot of room in the stomach, it is super important. I'm supposed to get at least 64 ounces of fluids a day, which I have not been doing. And another call out to myself here, I guess it's just like point out everything that I'm not doing properly. This could be a long episode. but anyway, that is another thing that I am trying to work towards. And if anybody has any good tips or anything with to add to water that is better than the drink mixes to flavor them up. Anything natural, anything that you guys prefer, please give me a message or comment in the comments on either Twitch or on YouTube because we're on both right now. And I'd like to hear from you guys of things that you kind of do to not only cut cravings, but also what you like to flavor your waters with. Because I'm looking for stuff like that, something more natural to be kinder to my body. Why are we so mean to our bodies? Why do we do this to ourselves? Lack of sleep, eating improper, just kind of turns into this really twisted web of things that we do to ourselves, and I don't understand. When we know in our, like, we stop and we think, well, I do anyway. I'm like, you shouldn't eat two of those cookies. Probably a bad idea. It's probably going to hurt you in the long run, but yet I still go reaching for them. So that's something I'm working on again, though. It's been a thing that I've dealt with throughout my life. Food and sugar and everything bad for myself, which I have been feeling incredible up until these past couple weeks. So, and those kind of changes also go in hand with having depression and anxiety. For myself, I'm not saying that everybody goes through that, but that is something, and I've been dealing with some of that stuff too. So, it's easy when you're kind of down and dealing with situations that you're not knowing how to navigate to reach for these kind of things and to get off routine and to not do the things that are good. So I'm trying to work hard this next week and getting back into committing myself to my not extreme workouts. Let's not make it sound like I'm in the gym 24/7. Who's in the gym anyway right now? I think they're still all closed. But at home doing all my stuff, I'm not like lifting 250 pounds or anything like that. But I do circuit training. I do body groove, Leslie Sansone in home walking. That's another one of my favorite go tos. Just anything that's fun to try to get myself moving. Dancing, I am horrible, but man, I like to turn up that music. My neighbor probably loves it too, I'm assuming. So, you gotta find what fits for you, what's fun for you. Something that I like, Dawn may not like, Tony probably doesn't like. But, it's really trying to find that healthy balance for yourself and things that you will keep you going and keep you motivated. And I've been looking into those fun like 5K online runs and stuff, but they cost. But a lot of them go towards like charities and good causes and things too. So those are kind of interesting. If you're trying to find something to get you moving, we still have some nice weather ahead of us, so that's a good thing to get out, enjoy the weather, go and do some of these walks and whatever. It's been kind of interesting because since great movement up there. That, yeah. Anyway, it's been interesting, like trying to figure out what you what you want to start doing with everything that's still. We're kind of like in Michigan, kind of doing the hokey pokey back and forth of what's wrong, what's right, what's going on, and I feel for a lot of people right now because with schools that are supposed to be opening up and stuff, and I'm not trying to get into the political, but this is part of the stuff that I've been dealing with mentally, seeing all of this stuff with parents having to figure out what they're going to do with the kids, if they're going back to school, if they're doing online, what the roadmap is that's for their schools and their towns and whatever. And it's been confusing for me to even look at. And we don't have Connor at home at this time, but when he is home, what are we going to do? There's a lot of questions and a lot of things that everybody is just up in the air and feeling right now because we're all being affected, and it's not knowing what's right, what's wrong, what's going on. So, and trying to continue moving forward in life is kind of difficult with all this stuff going on. And for me, I like to be able to get out and still go and do trails and kayaking and fishing and all that fun stuff. And there's some people that are absolutely against wanting to leave and wanting to do anything. And I respect whatever it is that you feel is best for you and your family. But it's hard because you have people that are like, you shouldn't be doing that. But you're doing this and I don't feel like I should be doing that. So, so that weighs on you mentally as well, along with all of the back and forth. I literally sat down with Adam today, and I think a lot of this also not just being dehydrated, but emotionally feeling drained from everything, seeing everything, waking up and seeing everything. And I sat down with him today, and it's not that I feel like I'm super naive, but I'm seeing all of this different stuff that I guess I didn't even realize that was a thing or happening in this world. I literally, the thing with the troll doll, I don't know if anybody's ever has seen any of that stuff. That just literally brought me to tears thinking of all these different things. And this world's just feeling evil. Just a lot of bad things I feel are happening in it and emotionally affects me. So I've been trying to continue to keep moving forward, keep staying positive, and trying to figure out the best way to keep doing what it is that I have to keep on doing, not only to keep myself going, but to also help to uplift you guys and other people. It's been a struggle, and that's one thing I wanted to kind of also talk about is when something hits in your life that you aren't expecting and you're on the upswing and you're doing really good, and then something happens, like, I don't know, your car breaks down on the expressway, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get here and there and do what it is that you have to do. um, that kind of set me back a little bit. I'm going to admit that, because and then you start thinking about, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to do this? And I'm trying so hard to live in every day the best I can, because I feel like we miss that point, that we don't do that all the time, that we're too busy worrying about what the past has happened, what's happened to us, what's trying to almost take us down, and also to what tomorrow brings and what our future is, and feeling that dire need of, who am I? What am I doing with my life? Where am I going with this? So we're constantly trying to figure out all these questions, I feel. And then when you are doing good and things are like, yeah, I got this, something else comes up and you have to try to figure out how to keep that balance. So another thing too, if anybody has any tidbits on that, that would be appreciated. To try to learn how to navigate through this, because I don't want that situation to completely knock me off of my game or whatever it is, but being in harmony and trying to keep balance, that's a really difficult thing to try to do. So trying to navigate that and be like, okay, well, I knew my car was gonna go eventually. I've talked about this. I've talked about this on other episodes, and I knew it was gonna happen. I was just crossing my fingers and hoping that it was gonna last a little bit longer until I could fix that. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out, how do I keep a positive attitude, continue to be kind to other people, because let's face it, we need that in the world right now, and how not to let that knock me off of the where I climbed up to, and to hold me back down, so that I don't continue to keep moving forward. And if we think long enough and if we think long enough and try to get everything in order to go, okay, well, this didn't work. So my biggest thing that I've been dealing with the vehicle situation is asking people for help. Who struggles with that? I know a lot of people. It's not easy, especially when you're the person that you're like, I want to help you all. I want to help everybody. And then you're like, I can't help myself. So how am I going to help other people? So how do you keep that momentum? How do you continue to keep moving forward when something like that happens and stops you in your tracks? First off, something I kind of want to touch on. I read the book 60 Minutes in Heaven, and that was an eye opener. If you guys have ever seen the movie or read the book, I have a copy of it. I would be willing to, pay it forward to somebody. Um, in the book, it happens to where he has a very big life, like it turns his life upside down. And he is a spiritual man, but yet it still brings him down so much to where he doesn't know how to function anymore. Or there's a part in the book that I really like, because he gets a lot of people coming in and wanting to help him, wanting to just help him, and he keeps telling everybody no. And one of his good friends comes in and says, have you ever thought about that being something that they need to do to feel better, to help you? You're taking away somebody's joy to be able to help you. And that's another thing. Like when he said that, I was like, ooh, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of telling people like, "No, I'm good. I'm good." Because, we think about not wanting to take too much from somebody, not wanting to burden anybody, or feeling like if you do allow somebody to help you out, that you feel bad about it. And that's what we're here for, is to help each other out, in times of need. And if you're not constantly like purposely trying to get one over on somebody, why should you feel bad about it? Like, if you because there's going to be a time when they're going to need you too. And if you're available to do so, then it's paying it forward. It's helping. I feel like that's just a thing that just goes around and around at times. But you have to be able to accept it and allow people to help you out and to pay it forward. And then when it's your turn, you'll take that chance and you'll run with it and you'll help other people. And that's something that I've dealt with quite a few times in my life. When I ended up being diagnosed with cancer, that's when Tony and I first met, like right before everything had happened. And I think we knew each other, what, 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. And I ended up going in and getting the surgery done. And bless my roommate's heart, he just wasn't able to help me out because he was working third shift and stuff. And I was really having a hard time. I couldn't be with my mom. I didn't have family around, and I kind of pushed people away because I was dealing with stuff, and I was struggling through it, and trying to get mobility because I had my stomach completely cut open, and he was like, "Well, just come stay here. You're fine." I'm like, "You guys don't even know me," And at that time, his kids were little; they were young, and I'm just like, how does one person just be like, okay, I'll help you out, and not barely know? And here we are, like 6 years later, and life has changed, and we've been through a ton of different things, and but I think back to that, his family just accepted me. His mom prayed over me before I went in for surgery, and I just met them. The kids were super sweet and like concerned and there for me as well. And it's just, you don't understand, like, you don't know how to deal with that. Like, I was living with my roommate, and I didn't have a big family. I didn't grow up with a big family. My brother was gone a lot. I was pretty much kind of like the only child because he was older than me and he had moved out. And for me, I was home a lot because my mom worked a lot, and so I was by myself. So when I came into that experience, and I had not just him helping me out, but his mom and the kids and people, like constantly, people everywhere here. And I didn't know how to accept that because I wasn't sure of it because I was used to being by myself, and I'm like, how? I looked at him and I'm like, how do you live with all of these people and people coming in and out like all the time? Like, how can you do that? I'm just like, I'm at home. If you knock and I don't answer, I'm not home. That's like kind of how it was for me. Like, somebody just stopping by, I was like, no, don't do that. Call me first. But you constantly, he always had people just coming in and out, and it was interesting to me to see that, and then I became part of the family, and got through what I was meant to get through, and then continued to move forward. But it was hard to accept that. It was hard to allow, especially people I didn't know very long. But honestly, that helped me to get through what I had to get through. And I think it's funny, whether you're religious or not, I mean, I feel like people are in your life when they're meant to be in your life. And I thought that was, something cool to remember, to not, I guess sometimes I think we just need to sit back and not question so much, but always to question stuff. So where's that balance there, Because you should always be paying attention to surroundings, obviously, and listening to your heart and your gut instincts, obviously. But like, how do you balance that? That's one thing I am still trying to learn. So it looks like I have Adam checking in and sounding great on YouTube, and I've got people still thank you guys for joining me. Um, I want to take a moment after I get a drink because, again, drink your water. It's important. Yeah, go ahead.
You got some love on Twitch over here. Candy's throwing up tons of purple hearts because we all know how purple represents Survivor Girl.
It does. Thank
And
you. Thank you.
she's
Thank you.
currently on the road, so she stopped long enough to send purple hearts, and now she's driving.
All right. Yes. Be safe. Thank you for listening and tuning in. I appreciate that. Safe travels. I appreciate that too. You guys don't understand how is humbling the right word for that. How wonderful to be able to do this podcast and to have people that tune in and look forward to whatever it is I'm going to talk about on Sundays. Um, I never expected 6 years ago that this is what I would be doing, and it just my soul feels so good being able to do this kind of stuff. And today, when I'm getting ready for the show and feeling dizzy, not feeling good, I've been so tired today, and to not have the proper water and whatnot, taking care of myself, which I'm learning. So the next part of this week coming up, that's what I'm going to focus on is taking care of myself, and that's okay. That's not selfish. That's another thing I want to touch on too. You know, to be able to do something like this, I never imagined in my life that I would be doing. And I'm thankful. I appreciate that you guys tune in and that you guys support and that you show me the love, and that when I'm talking about stuff that touches you guys, that you message me and let me know. And I really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, just I appreciate that more than you can ever imagine. Because I never imagined that I would be here. When I first started out, uh, I worked at a factory for a little while. That was kind of like my first jobs, getting my foot in the door after school. And then I ended up losing that job due to having surgery on my hands and stuff. And that was just a whole nother thing. And it was a long time ago. And then I ended up scrambling for a job after being laid off from there and ended up at Walmart. And I was there for 11 years, almost 12. And I thought that that was really what my life was. I thought that that's all it was going to be. I had met my first husband there, and that did not go well. I mean, we still talk sometimes. We forgave and moved forward, and I thought that that was it. Like I thought that was what I was going to do. And I'm not saying that that's bad. If that's what you are doing and that's what you want in life, then that's okay. But I don't know. I just didn't feel like I fit. I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like I needed something more that was more of a service kind of thing. And after going through cancer and my mom passing away from it and everything, I felt like I wanted to help people. I wanted to do stuff to help people. I wanted to help any way I could with this world and help people get through whatever it is that they're getting through. So, I go back and forth with those acts of service. Is that what it would be considered? Um, you know, I've been thankful and lucky to have a creative side to be able to make and do things like that and to have compassion when I can to be able to help people out. And I look for any kind of opportunities that I can, and Adam brought it up after being at the farmer's market. He says, you had a great day. We all had a great day. You did well at the farmer's market. He said that was kind of your first, because I made displays and I had everything just kind of organized. And, I finally put time into how I wanted the design. And he goes, you made a lot of people happy today. I said, what? What are you talking about? He's like, you don't realize it, but, you sold all your cheesecakes. Technically, guys, he sold all my cheesecakes. Pretty much. Pretty much. But anyway, he's a very good salesman. And if you can't hear him across, you're not listening. Um, but, he's like, you sold all your cheesecakes that you made, and you were able to display, like, your art and your jewelry and stuff, and had a lot of people that were interested in buying stuff. And he's like, and that will make them feel good, And there was a lady that stopped in and purchased one of my pairs of winged earrings and then one of my charm bracelets with, I think strong is beautiful or something. There's all kinds of different things that I try to put on for inspiration. And she came walking by, and I seen that she had the earrings in, and I seen that she had the bracelet on, and it just, to see her, she was just like, she had her shoulders up. She was just, it was just cool to see that. I'm not saying that she wasn't confident before that, but it was like, that's awesome. Like that felt good. That felt really good. So there are all kinds of acts of service and kindness and things that you can do. And I guess I don't realize that. I get caught up in, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing that I can do? And I don't realize the things, even the smallest things, are huge, are big things. And I hope that everybody that's listening can think of those things. You can think of some of the stuff that we do, that maybe even the smallest of things that you do to help in a way. It's interesting to think of it that way, and I'm glad that he brought that up because I don't always think of that stuff. So it's cool. What you got?
I was going to say, by the way, this is episode 44.
Mm. Thank you for pointing that out, because when we were at the farmer's market, I was like, am I on episode what? 41, 40, 40, 45. That is incredible. Really? Already that? Already. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Strange Friends Media, we produce not just Survivor Girl. We do Don't Make This Weird, This Is My Brain. We have some archived episodes of Mitch's Fake Radio. And also, I just want to give a shout out while we're at this point to say thank you to solidstateradio.net. I am re-aired on Sundays, I think at 9 o'clock, I think you'd said. And I'm actually after somebody else that does positive, uplifting stuff too. So that's cool. I have not got a chance to listen to that person's podcast. You have good stuff. So I need to do my homework and give some support too. So even I fall behind on some things. I'm again, like I said, I'm human. I make a lot of mistakes. At least I feel like they are. Other people are just like, it really wasn't that bad. Like, quit being so hard on yourself. But, that's another thing, too, that has been incredible. I have been working on discovery, self-discovery, and I have those journals that I got for my birthday that I have been working on. And I like to recommend, even if you're not a writer, journaling is incredible. It is very eye-opening. I got the 3,000 Things About Me, and it was from Barnes & Noble. And, it wasn't necessarily that I wanted people to know about me, but the questions are really cool because it really makes you think. And why you would put that, why you would say that. So I got that, and there's another one that's an empowering one. I'll try to take a picture and put it up later for you guys. But it asks a lot of different questions about yourself, about your life, about what you like, what you don't like, and it helps you to grow. So I have been feeling really good about that. I have filled out one journal. It was a gratitude journal. I recommend those as well. Those are fun. And here's the thing, which is crazy. I've always had journals growing up, diary when I was little, then went to journals, graduated. But they've never been filled until I'd say this past year. Like I would start them, and I'd be, ooh, that one's nice. I need that one. So I'd start gathering all of these journals, and I'd start writing in them, and then by the time I'd go back to writing them again, I'm like, that was a long time ago. Rip, like I'm trying to start again. So finally, I'd say last year into this year, I have started to journal and actually religiously do it like every day because I'm learning a lot about myself, and that is something. The self-discovery is something incredible. It is hard though. I'm going to be honest with you because there's some things that have been coming up, and I'm going, ooh, I didn't realize that was something that was underlying that was causing me issues. And when you start to dig those up, it's going to be hard. It is a hard process to do. I recommend that if you are somebody who can, what is that, living? Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Living successfully with screwed up people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that is something that Tony always talks about on Don't Make This Weird, is that book and that helping him. But, one of the things, though, that kind of did start getting me going down this path of finding joy instead of happiness was the You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I've brought that up before. I'm not endorsed or sponsored by her or by anything that I've brought up today. I don't have sponsorships, and I just bring it up because these are things that I found that have helped me out. And as soon as I listen to it. So if you are able to get the audiobook and you can listen to it, that's incredible. But also, if you're someone that likes to have the pages physically, the books are incredible. But I like the audio because it's her talking, and she really does pump you up and like make you feel good while you're listening to it, which is awesome. And she even says that she was not for any self help crap. She, as she puts it, and I like that because she's real. If I were to write a book, I would be talking about that too because to me, it's just I wouldn't have believed in any of it either. But since I've started working in the process and started to find the things that caused me issues throughout my life, and that's important. I'm at 40. If you are younger than me and you have the chance to start doing this self-discovery stuff, I do recommend looking through it. There's going to be more stuff that obviously life has its twists and turns. There's always something. One second. Do you have anything? Is there anything else going on over there?
Yeah, I even tackled Jen Sincero, and she's hilarious in her audiobooks. If you like people that are real when they read their audiobooks, she's definitely one of them that brings a fresh look at quote unquote self help.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adam brought something up here on YouTube as well. He said that little girl's smile when she bought the bracelet and the art. So that's something, she's seen the dragonfly thing, and I don't know if it was her mom or if it was her aunt, but anyhow, this younger girl, I'd say she's probably about maybe 11, maybe a little bit older. They had come in and she had money to buy stuff, and she seen the I'm a fighter, I'm a survivor, I'm a warrior painting, and she really wanted it. So she had lost her father, and somebody had mentioned to her that dragonflies are spirits coming to you, or whichever. Which I've heard it several different ways, and but for me, it's a different story with the dragonflies. However, when she seen that, she had to have it. So I was like, okay, we'll work something, and she got a bracelet that had one of the inspiration things on it. And thank you for bringing that up, by the way, Adam. um, that story like touched me because here's this little girl and she was super brave. Just like I'm going on, I'm going through my life and I'm gonna hold this, and it was like wow, at that young, like to be that good. I mean, obviously we all have our days, no matter how strong we look on the outside. But to see that, and and for her to buy that really, and I'm glad that he reminded me of that because that was cool. That was very cool. So we face a lot of stuff in life, and those kind of things, I don't care if you think it's silly or what, but sayings and words and affirmations really can do a lot for you, a lot for you. This thriving survivor thing for me, I feel like if you have survived whatever it is that you've survived, that you can thrive through it, no matter what it is that you've gone through, which is tough because we all have faced different things. There's people that have faced way worse stuff than I ever have thought about facing. And I give you guys kudos for getting up off the floor and continuing to move forward and to live your life and to thrive through it. The things that I've talked about, they stopped me in my tracks. I've faced a lot of different things, but that doesn't mean that mine have been the worst stuff. That there's a lot more people out there that have faced way worse than I have, and I give you guys a lot of credit for not giving up and not giving in. And I applaud you guys for that because I can't imagine some of these stories and things that I have heard from other people, and them to sit across from me to talk about these things that they've faced. I'm looking forward to getting more people in the studio to talk about their stories as well. So, what you got, Tony?
I was just going to say there was a couple of ladies a little ways down on our side that once they found out what you did and that you were a podcast host for a show called Survivor Girl,
Yeah.
the one girl was like, I can't do that. And I've been through some serious stuff. And she's like, wow. And I'm like, well, here's the link.
Right.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
And if you want to do inbox message or whatever, I'm sure Heather will respond to you. Well, she got back with me, and the two episodes that she listened to was Nicole Babb
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
and Farmer Chrissy.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
two very heavy hitting episodes.
Those were absolutely. I also we've had so many that Crystal LaFay's episode, Jan's episode, Travis French's episode, your episode. I mean Roxanne's episode. We've had a lot of people in the studio that we've talked with. We've discussed PCOS on the show. Man, we've talked so many. And if I've missed anybody because we've had this many episodes, I truly apologize. But they are archived on YouTube, so please go ahead and go back and listen to them. I mean, there are some heavy things in the episodes. I'm not gonna lie to you. But to be able to hear other people's stories and to see where they're at and the drive that they have and for thriving and surviving through life it's an incredible thing. We there was somebody else that I talked to, and they said they liked to listen to these kind of things, the hard stuff that people don't talk about, the controversial stuff that people don't talk about. They liked to listen to them because they knew that these people gone through such things, and to see them come out on the other side gives hope to people. And when she said that, it was like, yeah, I guess I never really. I mean, I think about these things obviously, but when somebody else puts a perspective on it, it's like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
Well, and the outpouring too of people that have listened to past episodes and went, I can really identify with that person, and gave them strength. And they've reached out to us in our inbox
Hmm.
uh, and went, thank you for being one of those people that was able to bring this story out that gave me hope and strength to move forward. I mean, we've got countless inbox messages for that.
And I'm gonna be honest with that. I cry probably every time somebody sends me that message because I used to be very upset about that. Like, why would you cry? Growing up, it was, and this is not a dig at my parents or anything, and I'm sure we've all heard this maybe at one point. If you're gonna cry, cry in your room. Let's not do that to people. If you're gonna cry, I'm gonna talk to you about it. Let's see your emotion. Let's not hide our emotions. The more we hide our emotions, the less people understand of what you're going through. And I think that leads us to not want to talk about our emotions because if you're gonna cry, cry in your room where nobody sees you. No. No. Don't. It's okay to have an emotion. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel because you know what? When you feel, you're alive still. You know that you still have fight in you. I cry a lot, and I've talked about this before. I used to be so upset when I'd cry in front of people because then they think I'm weak. But I feel things on such a different level, and especially after going through the things that I faced, I cry a lot. And you know what? I am so beyond thankful. Not only that my friends are like, we're here, but I have Adam also going, emotions are always okay. And he says it to me every single time. I need to hear that. Instead of feeling like it's a dirty little secret, like I have to hide when I cry because someone's going to think I'm weak. You know what? I don't care. And nobody else should. If you are really upset, don't hide your emotions. Don't go to your room and hide your emotion unless it's somebody you don't want to be around. Okay, that's a different story. Totally different story. Maybe they're the ones that caused it, but whatever. You know, I feel like being that I think that makes you stronger. Honestly, to be able to cry in front of somebody because you could face them judging, whatever, maybe picking, poking at you for crying, whatever. I think it takes a stronger person to be able to do such a thing, to be able to show your emotions and be raw. And I've talked about the communication thing, especially in relationships, friendships, and stuff. And somebody had posted a quote that said it's not necessarily about the communication, it's about the being real with the communication and listening and being able to talk back and forth no matter how uncomfortable it is. And that's true. Like that's very true. You got something?
I was just going to say that there's a real healing process that comes when you're being cathartic and honest with yourself. You know, you know, when you're getting your emotions out, that is one thing. When you're ruled by your emotions, then that's a total different dumpster fire.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
But no, there's a when you're letting your raw emotions out and feeling that catharsis, it's healing. It's empowering because yes, I faced this head on,
Hmm.
maybe crumbled like a house of cards, or you know, I took it the brunt of it and stayed standing.
Right. Yeah, and that's a great. I'm glad that you said that because there is a difference between allowing your emotions to control everything. There is a difference between that. I'm not saying that that's necessarily always a good thing because that can cause harm to you as well. So I'm glad that you brought that up. But I feel like getting out a good cry is definitely therapeutic. I find out lots of different things that I'm seeing that are important and are therapeutic. Daily stuff, not necessarily always, but I finally decided when I reading through that book that I brought up about the authentic self and all that. I have started a ritual on Sundays, either after or before my podcast, of actually taking a bath with bath bombs and things that I like that relax me and calm me. And I have found that it has made a difference for me. There's different things that you know. It's kind of funny, like going back to childhood age because I used to take baths all the time when I was a kid. And one of the things was, as I called it, a sprinkle bath, which my roommate brings up to me because I said something about it one time. And what I meant by that is I would sit in there and then turn the shower on, which total waste of water, which I didn't realize. But anyway, so I would think in my mind as a kid, I would imagine like being in a pond and having the water, it raining out or whatever. So, and I did that too, and I was like, man, why didn't I do this? Oh yeah, because it's a waste of water. That's why. That's why you don't do it. But there's these some things that have been coming up more and more as I'm learning how to grow and to work through some of these things that have kind of halted me, like under the layers. When I finally am like, oh wait a minute, I never did address that. That's probably why I'm like I am right now. But I'm bringing up some of these things too, like from childhood. Someone said to, what was it in the book? They were talking about nursery fare, like food that you got as a kid, something that you loved as a kid, to like bring that back and to have it once in a great while, or something like that, something that brings back like a good memory, a good feeling, traditions and such. And they were talking, and me and Adam were talking about that, and I was like, my mom used to give me freaking the graham crackers with chocolate frosting on it. And when I thought about it, like it was a good feeling, like that warm and fuzzy, like I remember that. Like that was good. Weird stuff like that.
So you're saying cold spaghettios and shame is probably not something you should go back to.
Probably. I mean, okay, so if you had a good childhood, maybe revisit. Just kidding. Cold spaghettios and oh my gosh. Only Tony, you guys. Only Tony. But yeah, I remember that, and it's funny because since I started getting Dad's groceries for him to help him out through everything going on, I order them for him. He gives me everything that I need for it, and then I order and have somebody deliver for him. And one of the things I've been doing is, yes, okay, it's his money, but I will send like a little snack or something. I'll pick something out that reminds me of when I was a kid and like, him and I being close and stuff. So, I can't remember. I windmill cookies, that was a big thing. Those the orange box ones. So I sent those one time and just stuff like that, random stuff that I remembered him liking or whatever. And so now he looks forward to that one surprise or whatever. And he's like, I didn't order. Oh, that was from you. Okay, cool. So the one time when I was talking to him, he's like, okay, don't forget my surprise. And I'm like, I won't. So that's been kind of cool, to have that kind of thing between us. And it's a very good, like, warm and fuzzy feeling. And I think about those kind of things too. And those are important to kind of revisit. I love, not only do I love doing the Diamond Dots thing, but the coloring books that they brought back and made it cool for adults to be able to color again. Like, I support that. I think we should all be able to have that kind of fun, bubbles, whatever it is. instead of being like, oh, I'm so old, I shouldn't be doing that. But there was a time Becky had gotten bubbles for Adam and I, and him and I were blowing bubbles at 1 o'clock in the morning into the tub, and just giggling and laughing about it, and just living in the moment. That's basically really that warm fuzzy feeling and living in the moment and just being like, you know what? Like we wake up in the morning and be like, you want to watch cartoons and eat cereal? Yeah, that's a great idea. I recommend that more. You wanna get out the Play-Doh and or the silly putty and stick it to newspapers and.
Stranger Things blanket fort. Just throw that
Oh
out there.
yeah, we did that too. He'd set up a blanket for it and was Stranger Things fans only. He wrote on it, got us snacks, did everything, and I was like, this is fun. Like that's fun. And I think we get so caught up in like the daily of getting everything and just doing it. I'm an adult. Okay. But seriously, deep down inside, you were still a child. Like, if somebody put out, something like that blanket for it, but we were talking about a bounce house. I said, yeah, walking by the bounce, hold my shoes. I mean, like, I don't think we do enough fun stuff like that. I don't think that is it like, consider like play enough? Just enjoy it and live in the moments. I find those kind of things fun.
There's some merit, and there's actually a book out. I don't remember the name of it, but it's called Play Therapy, to where when you revisit happy parts or happy memories of your childhood,
Mm-hmm.
that it's supposed to be very therapeutic, that helps you heal even more from the tragedies and the trauma that you suffered in your childhood.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the name of it. I'll have to look that up and find out what it is.
And that was another question. There's another book that I got at Barnes and Noble that is the story of me, and it asks you about of us, I think it is, and it asks you about your parents and grandparents and stuff, and you like any kind of different questions with them and whatnot. And one of the things that they were asking about was 10 things that you remember from your childhood, like your room that you had. And it was such a trip because when I was writing them all down and describing it, I was literally just like I was there. I'm like, oh man. And I brought it up to Adam. I'm like, I had this really cool canopy bed. It was awesome and it was huge, because it was my mom's and I ended up getting it. She put it in my room and I was like, this thing was so cool. So then I started thinking about like my room as a kid and all the different stuff and describing it. And that book is really cool. It's a blue covered and it says, I think it's a story of us. Again, I'll try to take pictures of all of these and put them up on Survivor Girl because they're very cool books, and I do recommend like the gratitude journal. If you start that and you start doing that in the morning, you do end up feeling really grateful for the things that you have in life, and not just necessarily like material stuff, but your friends and the things that you get to do. What's that?
I actually found the book. It's called Play Therapy: The Art of Relationship. Gary L. Landreth, and it's got some pretty interesting chapter headings in here. It says the meaning of play for chapter 2, functions of play. Children communicate through play, play and therapeutic process, symbolic play, stages in play therapy. And then it goes into a little bit of chapter 3, history and development of play therapy. Just going through and talking about the different things
Mm-hmm.
that you can do as a child going through therapy,
Yeah.
but also the same attributes as an adult to deal with that.
That's cool.
So,
That's really cool because there really should be more of that, I think, in our lives because, we get so caught up on what we're like. When I first started this episode, talking about what I thought I was supposed to be and what I should be doing, and I'm 40 and I got this stress, and I'm blowing bubbles at 1 o'clock in the morning, giggling like a child, to drawing on the sidewalk, or whatever it is that you did, or eating graham crackers with chocolate, which not right now because I'm trying to stay away from the sugar. But that's another great thing about that. The allergies, I can't eat those. So, and Dawn brought up fudge, my mom's homemade fudge. Oh my gosh, my mom did that too. Peanut butter cookies. That was the thing. But and you think about those, and like, how does that make you feel when you think about that? It's like it's a good, warm, fuzzy feeling. Like I like that. That's cool. Flying kites, just stuff like that. Just getting out and doing things that are fun, especially for dates. I love that idea. just like, Adam and I, when everything started to happen, we got everything together. We made a picnic lunch and we went up to the hill in Cass City by the park that I remember growing up, going up on there and watching the fireworks, sledding down this hill, and I could actually climb it, which was another like really cool bonus. So we got up there and it was so peaceful. So I recommend anybody that's around here, if you get a chance to pack a picnic, go up on that hill and just enjoy it, especially on the beautiful days that we have left. Just finding those kind of inner peace things. I work on a lot of stuff in the morning. I have time set aside for me specifically. I used to think that that was very selfish. I was talking with Adam this week about being proud of ourselves too. Growing up, I don't know where the idea comes from or who says it or what happens, where you get confused on what is that you can be confident and proud of yourself for doing, for making, for creating, as opposed to feeling like you're being cocky or full of yourself. I don't know where that kind of went in, but I used to be very weird about um, saying that I was good at stuff and being proud of myself for things that I could do. And, it was kind of an odd thing, and I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced this, but there comes a time when you're like, I want to be proud of myself, but I'm afraid I'm going to look like I am full of myself. We need to stop doing that stuff too, because honestly, if you have that good of a heart to stop and think that kind of thought, you're a good you're a good person, and you should be proud of the things that you're able to do. So that was another thing that I had brought up with him, with making jewelry and doing all the fun stuff that I love to do, but I didn't want to be like, yeah, I can do that. I'm proud of myself, because that's not anything it is about. So I think for this week, I would like to see if everybody's able to find something that you ate as a kid and make it fun. We talk about cake for breakfast and all the things as a kid where your parents were like, that ain't happening. You eat your Brussels sprouts and you're gonna like it, which I probably should anyway. But anyhow, find that thing that like maybe your mom used to make or your dad made or your grandmother made or something that really feel good, food or hot chocolate maybe, I don't know, whatever it is. Watch an episode from when you were a kid of like your favorite show growing up or a cartoon. You can find them on YouTube. I found Gummy Bears and it was amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. Get out the bubbles, blow bubbles into the tub at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. But, play, have some fun. Do that play therapy like Tony had brought up. Do something that makes you feel good. Think about, like the book said, describing 10 different things in your room as a kid growing up. Just those really good things. And I'm not saying that everybody had such a great childhood growing up. Mine had some things in it where it was like, this is a little bit rough, but I remember the good stuff. I remember going to Call the Wild up in Gaylord and going on the go-karts and that fun stuff. You know, there's so many cool things. So many cool things that I can remember as a kid, too. So I recommend finding something that you enjoy and trying it and doing it and not worrying about what anybody thinks about it. Just have fun with it. The coloring books are super cool. You can find those on Amazon, the Diamond Dots, or at stores. I don't know if there's any local stores that have those available as well. Like to support local. Oh, and also go check out the farmers markets if you're able to. I feel like that's a really good thing too right now. If you're safe, if you want to wear your mask, you can wear your mask. You can distance. That was happening there. People were very, very respectful. They kept their distance. They would wait and then let somebody else go out of the booth and then they'd go in. If that's something that you guys are practicing and you still want to be able to go get fresh produce or goodies or support local, that's another great thing too. We're looking at being back at the farmers market again in Vassar this Saturday. It's from 9 to 1 o'clock, I believe. Also, shout out to was it Cindy's Candy Clouds or Candy Clouds or whatever? Christy, sorry, I apologize. Christy's Candy Clouds. They were across from us, and those are some serious things. I know I just told you guys, stop eating the sugar. And then I'm like, but look at this. It's the size of your head. I'm back and forth, guys. That's where I'm at right now. I'll
Eat
focus on taking
healthy.
care of my sugar addiction. You guys do your thing. But yeah, that was just crazy. So if you guys get a chance to go check that out too, these people were walking away seriously with like a cotton candy the size of an umbrella in shapes of flowers and all kinds of things. Anyhow, I'll focus on me not doing the sugar. You guys do your thing. I hope that you guys are able to get through whatever it is that you're facing right now. Continue to smile, to find the things that bring you joy in your life, because happiness you're always going to be searching and wanting. Find the joy, find the things that keep you moving forward, that make you smile, and don't worry about what other people are going to think. If you are wanting to bring that really good feeling in by eating animal crackers and or Teddy Grahams, who cares? Do it. If that makes you happy, pack those in your lunch this week. Do whatever it is that makes you feel good, and start taking care of yourself, just like I'm going to. I'm gonna practice what I preach, friends. So anyhow, I just want to thank you guys for joining me, for jumping on. I'm gonna check YouTube one more. Oh, Adam says Zaboomafoo. Yes, mom's crepes and grandpa's eggs. All right. Thank you for sharing that. I know he talks about that stuff, and it's really cool to hear. So thank you guys. I look forward to this week just being one of those ones where we get back up and we keep on moving forward. Let's enjoy this week, and I will see you guys next week. If something comes up to where I don't have a show, I will let you guys know, because I think I might be going and doing something, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I will keep you guys posted. And remember, life is best lived.